When you're about to add a subwoofer to your home theater, the biggest question that looms over the whole process is simple. Do I really need this, or am I just throwing money at a fancy box? I've been in that exact spot more than a few times trying to figure out whether the extra rumble will actually improve my movies and music, or if I'm just paying a premium for something that will sit idle most nights. The good news is, you don't have to guess. The SVS SB5000R Evolution is a high-end model that promises deep, precise bass, and the link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's break down what that promise looks like in a real living room, who will really benefit from it, and where you might want to walk away. First, a quick sanity check on the kind of space we're talking about. The SB5000 is a 12-inch driver with a 1500-watt RMS amplifier. In a medium-size room, say a 12 by 15-foot living area with a decent amount of acoustic treatment, you'll start to feel a noticeable difference in the low-frequency response compared to a typical 8-inch or 10-inch sub. The bass becomes more than just a whoosh. You'll hear the rumble of a train in a thriller, the depth of a cello note in a classical piece, and the punch of a kick drum in a rock concert. That kind of impact isn't just a novelty, it actually fills gaps that small, cheap subs leave behind, giving you a more cohesive soundstage. Now, why does that matter for everyday use? If you're someone who watches movies a few nights a week and streams music casually, a mid-range sub in the $300 $400 bracket might already be enough. You'll get respectable extension down to around 30 Hz, and most modern AV receivers have decent crossover controls that can smooth things out. The SB5000, however, steps into an arena where you're looking for that cinema-level immersion without stepping out to a theater. It shines in large-screen home theaters where the screen is 75 inches or larger, and especially when you're pairing it with high-end floor-standing speakers that can reproduce the mid-range cleanly. In that scenario, the sub becomes the glue that binds those frequencies together, preventing the hole in the audio that many people notice when watching action sequences. Who should definitely consider the SB5000? If you're an audiophile who already owns flagship-class main speakers, think Klipsch RP600M, Bowers and Wilkins 600 series, or even higher-end models, this sub can finally let those speakers reach their full potential. Likewise, dedicated home cinema enthusiasts who use 4K HDR projectors or large OLED TVs will appreciate the extra authority that a 12-inch driver brings to explosions and orchestral swells. If you have a spare wall space or a corner where the sub can sit securely, the SB5000's compact piano gloss finish even doubles as a piece of decor rather than an eyesore. It also includes SVS's DSP-controlled variable frequency band, meaning you can fine-tune the integration without needing a separate DSP box, which saves both money and time. On the flip side, if your primary listening environment is a small apartment, a compact bookshelf speaker setup, or you're working with a minimalist aesthetic that avoids any bulky additions, this sub is overkill. The power that the SB5000 delivers can actually become a problem in tight rooms instead of a subtle low-frequency boost. You might find the bass overwhelming, especially if your receiver's bass management isn't tuned correctly. In those cases, you're better off with a smaller, less powerful sub that can be more easily calibrated to the space. Also, if you're on a strict budget, the price tag of the SB5000 means you're allocating a sizable chunk of your audio budget to a single piece. That money could be redirected toward upgrading your main speakers or even adding a second set of surround speakers, which often yields a more noticeable improvement in overall surround performance than a massive sub alone. Let's talk about the practical strengths that set this sub apart. The most immediate benefit is its speed of response. The 12-inch driver, combined with a high-current Class D amplifier, reacts almost instantly to transients. When a low-frequency impact hits, think of a car crash in a movie, the sub punches through without the lag you sometimes hear in cheaper units. That immediacy translates to a tighter, more controlled bass that doesn't wash out the detail in other frequency ranges. Another plus is the built-in DSP that lets you adjust phase, crossover, and even a parametric EQ directly from the SVS app. For someone who isn't a professional calibrator, the app's guided setup walks you through setting the correct distance and alignment, making integration less intimidating. The hidden trade-offs are worth mentioning, too. The SB5000's power draw is significant, around 300 watts at idle and nearly a kilowatt under full blast. That means you'll see higher electricity usage, which may or may not matter depending on how often you crank your system up to cinema levels. The thermal management system is robust, but in a small room the sub can run hot during extended listening sessions, requiring adequate ventilation.